Okay, that'll do. All right, Joe, so you ready for this one?
Yes, I am.
WrestleMania 25.
Yes, we've been through 24 already.
Can you believe it? So, this is the first one I actually, first one we watched.
Yes, this is when I was like, hey, you a wrestling fan? Yeah, I'm a wrestling fan. Boom, we came together.
WrestleMania, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, 25th anniversary.
It was actually downstairs.
2009.
It was downstairs.
Yeah.
And our dad, we'll get to him in a little bit. My dad, we'll get to him in a little bit. Yeah. Anyway, let's get right down to the show.
Yes.
Show. All right, start with the pre-show. This is the first time we had a pre-show match.
Well, because they couldn't fit it on the card.
Yeah, because this one actually mattered. This was one that actually counted. The Colognes, Primo and Epico, against The Miz and John Morrison to unify the tag team titles, and somehow this was not on the show.
Because they had to give more time to Kid Rock. And the Divas match, which we'll get into later, which I thought they'll say later.
Overall, I thought this was an okay match. I mean, watching it back again, it was okay for what it was. I mean, it definitely deserved to be on there.
Yes, I thought it should have been on the main card, but instead they just redid the whole thing on Raw the next night. So I was like, okay, so this is what the match was like last night. So it's like, okay, Colognes win the tag titles, and then we gotta wait for the penny belts to come.
Oh gosh.
Which are now around the waist of the Usos.
Yes. I forgot who sang the national anthem.
Oh.
I forgot who sang the national. Who was it? Someone from American Idol. We'll just say that.
Okay.
We'll just say someone from American Idol. So she's saying that, and we got the whole package. Like, was it the one where they grew up, all grown up?
No, it was the 25. The package from the beginning was everybody sitting down saying what their favorite WrestleMania match was.
Oh, they're in a.
No, it was John. It was like a sit down interview thing. It was John Cena talking about how WrestleMania 3 was his favorite.
Okay.
It was MVP talking about Rock and Hogan. Edge talking about Hogan Warrior. Chris Jericho saying every WrestleMania that he's been in was his favorite.
Oh, yeah.
That was my favorite moment of that because that was
Absolutely.
funny. Triple H saying the first WrestleMania was the best because that was the revolutionary.
It's the one that started it all.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels, of course, his match with Bret Hart.
Of course.
And so then it was like, okay, these were the matches that we grew up watching, and this is why we all wanted to be on that stage, and we're here tonight with our matches.
So that was the video package, and then we get the fireworks and all that stuff, and the first match was the Money in the Bank,
which I actually was looking forward to.
I was too. It featured Mark Henry with Tony Atlas as his manager.
Yes, back in those days.
Back in the day before the.
Oh yeah, the Abraham Washington piece of crap.
So Mark Henry with Tony Atlas, Kane, MVP, Mr. 305, Shelton Benjamin,
now in Ring of Honor,
who should have won at least one in my opinion, Kofi Kingston, Christian,
still there,
and Finlay, and also CM Punk,
who's walked out, and we don't know if he's coming back.
I doubt it.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt it. But anyway, surprisingly, CM Punk won again.
Yeah, 2 times in a row.
2 times in a row. I don't know why, but I did not like this at first.
I just didn't think it had that many memorable moments. Besides Kane Kane was not in the group of falling, and he just went like, oh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like that.
And then Shelton Benjamin was like, and then Hornswoggle jumping off and everybody falling.
And wait, is that with the one with the little ladder?
Yeah.
Yeah, the midget, the step ladder. Hornswoggle using a step ladder.
Yeah, I mean I will always say the 1 at 21 is the best Money in the Bank I've ever seen.
Best Money in the Bank match ever?
Yes, because that was the first one and they went all out with that. This was like, okay, we took 8 guys. We put ladders everywhere. We had one huge spot with Shelton Benjamin, which was really cool.
Well, every single one.
Yeah, because they always do that big spot on the top ladder. So it's all the same sometimes. Yeah. And if you hash it too much, it's not fun. I actually thought Kane was gonna win, and then Punk got with the fakes. Like, oh, okay.
And then he won it again, twice in a row. I didn't really like that.
And then went on to have a great feud with Jeff Hardy.
That is true.
And was the greatest feud of the year, in my opinion.
Indeed. So CM Punk wins the Money in the Bank. The next match is the one we were talking about earlier.
Well, first of all, let's talk about the Kid Rock concert, which was not put on the DVD, by the way.
It wasn't.
It wasn't put on the DVD. It went straight to the Divas match.
Oh,
but there was a Kid Rock concert, and there was the intro to the Divas.
Bow with the bow, the bang, diggy, diggy, diggy. Said the boys it up, drop the boogie, pow, pow. My name is Kid. Okay, sorry.
Exactly. Well, that was one of the songs he sang.
Yeah.
Sing Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
So he sings, you know yourself. I want to get, and then the Divas make their way to the ring, and
then we had that 25 Diva Battle Royal with, as soon as I saw Santino cross-dressed, I knew who was going to win that. And considering that the 3 weeks previous, it was all about a man trying to be Miss WrestleMania.
It was in a thong and a friggin' swimsuit contest.
This was back in the bad days when WWE was trying to be as funny as possible.
It was failing.
The comedy. But let's see, the writers, they just think that they're...
Was this during the writer's strike?
No, that was 2006, 2007.
Okay.
But no, these guys, they thought they was like, oh, this is funny in our eyes, having a man trying to be the Divas competition, trying to win and everything, and he's going to cross-dress and pretend to be his sister Santina.
Santina.
And she ended up, Santina ends up winning. And I don't need to say anymore. This was terrible in every way, shape, or form. Yeah, considering that the Divas just ignore the one standout, obvious Santina, they just go for everyone else because they know it's going to win. It just didn't seem believable.
That was not fun at all.
Nobody cared. Nobody cared.
Nobody
cared.
At all.
Okay, let's move on. This doesn't need to be said anymore.
It wasn't my pick to win at all.
And then they had that ridiculous feud with Vicky Guerrero over the the crown and the sash.
The
Hog's Pit. It was like, see, back in the bad old days.
Oh, man.
I still say that.
All right, that match was definitely forgettable.
Yes.
The next one I thought was very enjoyable. It's a 3-on-1 handicap match. Yeah. The Legends, featuring Rowdy Piper, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and Superfly Jimmy Snuka, with the Nature Boy, Ric Flair in their corner, against Y2J Chris Jericho.
Mickey Rourke sitting in the audience.
Oh yeah, Mickey Rourke.
Because that's when the wrestler came out, and they did that whole CNN interview with Chris Jericho.
Should have won Best Picture.
But it didn't, because you know what?
Slumdog Millionaire.
Yes, which I still didn't win. I think Avatar should have won.
That was the year after.
Oh yeah, that's right. What am I talking about?
That was the year after.
Anyway. Oh jeez, what is wrong with me?
Film buffs, ladies and gentlemen.
Anyway.
Okay, so anyway. That match I thought was a very good back and forth. I really liked Ricky Steamboat. I thought it was cool, so cool to see him back.
You know what I would have said? I would have not made it the handicap. I would have just had Chris Jericho, Ricky Steamboat, because Ricky Steamboat was obviously the guy that was still...
He was in the most shape out of anybody.
Yeah, he was still in shape, and he could still move around in the ring, whereas the other two, they just looked flat out horrendous, and that's why they got eliminated so early.
It wasn't an elimination match.
Well, it was.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Because that's why Snuka got eliminated first, and then Piper, and then it was just him and Steamboat, with Flair just sitting there in the back. It was like...
Yep.
I was like, okay, Jericho wins. I was like, Mickey Rourke, get in the ring. I'm going to beat you up. And then he gets sucker punched. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's probably the only thing memorable about that, and Ricky Steamboat coming back.
Yeah, but then they had the match later at Backlash, which was even better.
Was it just him and...
It was just him and Chris Jericho.
Oh, awesome.
With no Ric Flair. Ric Flair went to TNA at that point. Or about a few months
afterwards. Now we get the brother versus brother Extreme Rules match.
You're sick. You're twisted. You're demented.
You burned my house down.
You killed my dog. Yeah, I was like, what about my dog? Where's my dog on the fire? I burned him too. I was like, jeez. I almost ran you over on the highway.
I burned you with the pyro.
It's...
Matt and Jeff Hardy in the Extreme Rules match.
Oh God! How does Matt Hardy not get arrested? It's like Jesus. I mean, you're admitting all this stuff on live television. Like 10 cops should have gotten to the ring and like, Matt, you're under arrest for attempted murder,
arson.
Yes, arson. But no. In WWE logic, no, it was like, no, we're not pressing charges. We deal with this in the ring.
Motherfuckers.
Like, oh god. I don't even think that was even that extreme. The only thing that was memorable was Jeff Hardy jumping off and hitting Hardy on the table.
Just the spot.
Yeah, that was just that one spot.
Swanton bomb, and he moved out of the way, and Matt Hardy got the win.
Yeah, so there's nothing memorable about it. Matt Hardy ends up winning, and then he loses to an I Quit match later, and then doesn't do anything, and then a year later he does that whole YouTube thing, and then gets released.
Matthew! All caps.
Yeah.
Where's my grapes?
Where's my grapes? Nothing memorable about this one.
Speaking of not memorable,
Do we have to say it? It's the 21-second one?
Yep, 21 seconds, Mysterio, JBL, and then he quits.
With Mysterio dressed up like the Joker.
As the Joker, that's right.
Because, Mysterio does that whole thing where he tries to dress up like the popular movie. Like, next year's, we'll talk about that one when we get to it. But This was Joker versus JBL. Joker wins the belt. Yes. JBL says I quits. And then comes back 4 years later. And does commentary.
So, that one was definitely forgettable. The next match was definitely one of the best matches
in WrestleMania.
Of all time. Of all time.
Yeah. I was just watching the first 10 minutes of it before I came to do this.
That's right. The very first Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels match at a WrestleMania.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And hey, you knew these boys were going to put on a good match when you knew Hell in a Cell 97 was great and Royal Rumble 98 was great with that match. Jeez.
Yeah, this is only the third time they've only been singles competition.
And Kane wasn't there to interfere those first two times, so Shawn Michaels was by himself this time.
Pretty much. Funny story.
Can we get to your dad?
Yeah, let's do that. We were watching the match downstairs, and he
just went off on.
He just went off on like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is terrible. What is going on? You have no idea.
It's like
even the cameraman is a bad actor.
God. That spot when the Undertaker jumps out, and the cameraman didn't catch Taker. He was supposed to catch him, but he didn't catch him.
Catch him right.
Yeah, he didn't catch him.
And then he was like, even the cameraman's a terrible actor.
Yeah. And then they're laying in the ring because Shawn Michaels kicked out of like the choke slam or the tombstone.
Yeah, he's like, got the eyes and everything.
He's like, and your dad's like, are we friends now?
That's right. Are we friends now?
I don't know. There was a lot of like, because we actually thought Michaels could actually win.
Yeah,
see, that's
definitely.
the first. And we all know
this was probably one of the only times where I thought the streak was going to end.
Yeah, and we all know they're not going to fuck with the streak. Never. That's going to be in the pinnacles. That's why Brock Lesnar and Undertaker this year. We already know who's going to win, so the match not going to be anything.
It's obvious.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one is an instant classic. If you haven't seen it yet, what the hell are you waiting for?
Go to the network and watch it.
Go to the network, go to YouTube, go to Daily Motion, go to anywhere. Just watch it and
relive history.
Reminisce and the greatness that is
Which I really should have closed the show, but unfortunately, unfortunately, Vince McMahon has that philosophy that the world title matches must end the card, unless of course it's a match that's bigger than the title, which is what it was the next year, and then the 2 years after that.
We'll get to that.
When we get to
that. Next up is the triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship, featuring Edge, The Big Show, and
a bunch of John Cena clones.
Oh yeah, him coming out with Basic Thugonomics.
Yeah,
like everybody going, you can't see me.
Yeah. Nothing memorable about
except for the double AA.
Yeah, except them trying to lift 600 pounds worth of human flesh. That was the only cool thing about it, actually.
And Vicky. And
Edge
spearing Vicky.
And they even admitted it was like, wow, how are we gonna beat Taker Michaels? I mean, Edge even said in interviews like, the audience was burnt. The audience was burnt out at that point. It was gonna be tough for the three of us to try to do anything.
And it was.
Yeah.
Definitely. And the final match, the last match of the night.
No surprise, by the way. And as Jim Cornette used to say, I didn't watch WrestleMania 25, I was washing my hair.
Spent 3 hours washing his hair.
Yeah.
Lovely. Triple H versus Randy Orton.
Yes. And are you surprised Triple H won?
No, honestly.
Exactly.
He's God.
Yeah.
Praise God.
I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up beating the entire roster. And I bet you.
That's
And how funny would it be? And how funny would it be at WrestleMania 30 if Triple H beat Daniel Bryan and then beat Batista and Randy Orton, wins the world title, says "fuck you" to all the fans?
The internet is gonna explode.
Oh yeah,
I guarantee you that. The internet is just gonna go in
but I have a feeling.
tirade.
But I have a feeling he won't do that. But it would be funny if he did.
Tirade.
I'm gonna laugh if that happens.
So will I, and I'll love it.
Oh.
Either way. But yeah, this one was
not
pretty much
memorable at all.
Well,
it was
the
a
build up. The build up though was actually kind of enjoyable. Triple H going to his house and wrecking him, throwing him through a friggin' window and stuff in his own house.
But that's like saying you're a great football team. You won you had a winning record in the regular season, but you couldn't get it done in the playoffs. That's kind of the same thing. You had a great build up for like 4 weeks. You had Randy Orton destroying the old McMahon family, it was like breeding Triple H down to the bone, and then all of a sudden...
Is that where he RKO'd her and kissed Stephanie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, it felt like a Raw match. It felt like a match that could have been done on Raw with commercials.
Oh.
Yes. I just sat there, it was like... Plus, the audience was dead at that point because they just saw Triple H.
I was dead at that point. We were dead at that point.
We just been through Taker Michaels, like an epic showdown.
Nothing can compete.
It was hard for the fans to even care. They were already leaving the building at that point.
Nothing can compete.
So I'm sorry.
So
I would say that was a bad main event for a mediocre WrestleMania, and that's bad because that was the 25th. And that's supposed to be a big deal.
Right. So that's WrestleMania 25. What would you give it out of 10?
5.
5 out of 10?
Yeah. It was a hit and miss. Some good matches, a great match, but didn't end the show, so I have to lower it a little bit. I always say for a pay-per-view, the best match on the card has to be the main event. That's what makes it great. That's what makes a great pay-per-view. It's not if the main event's not the best match on the card, like that John Cena CM Punk match at Money in the Bank, then your pay-per-view is mediocre. And if somebody else is stealing the show and your main event's not, it's bad.
Very bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go a little higher than that. I'm gonna say 6.
Okay.
I'll go with a 6
Okay,
because
that's not...
every match had a little bit of a story to it. I mean, Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy was hilarious.
Regardless.
And Michaels and Taker, you can't beat that. It's just amazing.
Yeah, that had the best build-up of anything.
Yes, of course.
Because it was heaven versus hell, technically.
Exactly. Him coming down from the
rafters was
Taker coming up from
the hell.
That was great.
Come on.
So yeah, I give it a 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
And
that's it for 25. 26 is next.
Stay tuned.
Mm-hmm.